Episode Insiders on ISU TV. I'm Zach Williamson, Richia, and Brian Birchka, and we're going to start off today's episode, like always, with football. Cyclones this past weekend fell to K-State 20-19. Final play of the game, a heartbreaking loss. A game where it felt like the Cyclones should have had it all game. There were plenty of mistakes, some interesting plays by officials, something I've never seen, honestly, in my life. Them picking up 3 flags on the final drive, but you can't blame it all on the officials. There were times in the game where the Cyclones really could have extended their lead or even put away the Wildcats. Guys, give me your thoughts on the game.
So, Zach, I'll go ahead and go first. In my opinion, just like you said, Zach, this game should not have come down to this. A lot of people are mad. A lot of people are, feel some type of way about it. But, again, in my opinion, it shouldn't have come down to this. You said it. There were plenty of opportunities to capitalize and move ahead. There were a couple third down conversions that should have been converted. But, again and again, here we are. Iowa State is we missed another one just by a slippery slope, Zach.
I agree. There were plenty of missed opportunities. Once again, they struggled when they got down to the goal line. They couldn't quite punch it in. Had to resort to some field goals there. Ryan, what about you?
It was super disappointing. We were the better team. It's weird to say that, but we were the better team. There were some questionable calls by the official, everyone knows that, and some questionable calls by the coaches as well. Just late in the game, we should have run it, and we passed it, so... nothing you can do about it.
Of course, David Montgomery did go down.
Yeah, I think Mike Warren still, he can be a guy. He can be the guy. Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah, the backup backs honestly looked really good.
Calmly ran the ball well.
And you're right. With Montgomery in the end, we probably feel a little more confident running it there. And it's easy to look back now and say things should have been different. But at the same time, running the clock out there, that seems like the right decision. Either way, Cyclones 7-5 on the year, better than a lot of people expected. This team easily could have been 9-3, 7-2, could have been 11-1. You can make whatever argument you want. However, it's been a great season, and Ben Olsen was able to make a recap of the season, and well, here it is.
For the first time since 2009, the Iowa State football team is guaranteed a winning season. The Cyclones picked up their 7th win of the season after defeating the Baylor Bears 23-13 on November 18th. The Cyclones' success has fans in Ames buzzing.
Oh, this has been a great season. I'm really proud of the team, the players, the band, our daughters in the band, and I'm really looking forward to the next several years. They have a really strong way to go.
In just his 2nd season, Coach Matt Campbell has taken his team to prominence not seen in Ames for over a decade.
Well, I think Matt Campbell's proven that he's the real deal, and he's going to go out and we're going to refill the ranks, and just I'm really looking forward to the years to come as well with this coach. So
Iowa State was ranked in the AP Top 25 poll, something they haven't done since 2005. Campbell and the Cyclones also earned 5 Big 12 conference victories. The last time that happened, a guy named Seneca Wallace was quarterbacking the Cyclones.
Manning takes the snap. He'll throw it.
If you ask the coaching staff, however, they'll tell you it's Iowa State's senior leadership and their perseverance that is changing the culture.
Iowa State has meant so much to them, and they have given so much back and really have given more of themselves, and that's what we always talk about is, are you willing to give more of yourself than you take? And this group of seniors has been tremendous in that regard.
This group has done a tremendous job of really taking change by the horns and really becoming, I think the voice of the locker room.
After enduring 3 losing seasons and a coaching change, Iowa State's 22 seniors are finally enjoying success.
The thing I've been most proud about just about the adversity that we've had the first 3 years and not having the success and accomplishments that we wanted to have here, and to be able to go out and on those 2 big wins at OU and having TCU here. I think those are probably the two biggest points of the season that just solidified the greatest moments.
Marcel Spears picked it off, and the Cyclones have the ball.
The Cyclones aren't content yet. They're hoping to do something that Iowa State has only done 3 times in program history. They want to bring home a bowl victory. For ISU TV with Les Moirichia, I'm Ben Olson.
What a season it's been, and you know what? I think a lot of Cyclones are excited for the future, especially after the news yesterday that Matt Campbell signed a 6-year, $22.5 million contract with the Cyclones. Guys, how much does this mean for the team?
In my opinion, Zach, this is an insurance policy, really. So this is basically, there were all these rumors, Kirk Herbstreit and everybody on ESPN was talking about, oh, Campbell's having such a good season, it's his time to go, he needs bigger and better things. Well, you know what? I say bigger and better things have already come to Iowa State, and that's the reason Coach Matt Campbell is going to start. In my opinion, Zach, the games that we played all season, we only... Let me be careful with my words. Iowa State could have and had a really good chance of being 11-1. I'll tell you why really quick. The Iowa game, we missed that by one play. That big Akram Wadley run that he's so slippery and he got away. West Virginia, that a couple third downs there, we could have punched that in the end zone. There was some controversy there. It came down to one play. Oklahoma State, that interception at the end, one play. Kansas State, one play. So just the small margin, just the small little things that Iowa State could potentially clean up, and next season, I think we're going to be a force to reckon with. Shout out to the seniors, great season. Lazard, Lanning, all the contributors. Shout out to the coaching staff. We're looking so much forward to you guys coming back next year. Zach, great season, Iowa State Cyclones.
I agree. It was a great season, and this contract, like you said, is a little bit of an insurance policy. Also, what I think it is, I bet a lot of recruits right now are on the fence, saying like, well, we're not sure if Campbell's returning, so I don't want to commit to Iowa State quite yet. This, I think, is going to bring a lot more of those, on the fence guys back. Brian, what is your take?
It might be a bit of a hot take.
Sure.
But I feel like 6 years is a bit of an overreaction.
Okay.
He's good. I like him. I want him around. There's no doubt about that. But and it's not all his fault, but we've got 9 fourth-quarter losses in his 2 years here, and we've just lost so many winnable games. And it's partly him, partly players, partly refs, as we saw against K-State. But I want him around, but I think maybe we should have chilled out a little bit.
Yeah, the play calling, you could make the argument was suspect here and there, especially late in the game. And a lot of that falls also on Manning, his offensive coordinator. But also, the season's wrapping up. Let's talk about favorite games of the year. I'll start with you, Brian. What was your favorite football game this season?
TCU, for sure. The Oklahoma win could have been a fluke. It was a good win, but it could have just been like, oh, we just came out on top.
Right.
We then won 2 in a row, and then we beat TCU, another top 5 team. And that sort of cemented that we were the team that can win those type of games and be that team.
I agree. That was my favorite game of the year, too, just because, like you said, it showed that we were a good football team, that we were a program to be reckoned with. Also, it was at Jack Trice Stadium. Everybody rushed the field. I think everybody knew at that point, like, forget top 25. We're top 15.
Right.
We're moving up a notch.
Right.
So I think that was my favorite game, too.
Okay, for me, the game that I really enjoyed watching was an away game, and that was against Oklahoma. For Kyle Kemp to come in there, third string, everybody's like, who's Kyle Kemp? We don't know who he is. Never even heard this guy's name. But he comes in the game and just tears it up in Oklahoma, and literally, I think that was the one that really put Iowa State on the map, especially after coming off a loss from Texas. That game, I think, was the one that really, really elevated this team and proved that, hey, Iowa State is a contender.
You're so right. I think that game was the confidence builder for them as a team. When they beat Oklahoma with Kyle Kemp behind center, it's like, well, who's stopping us? We just won out of Oklahoma, who's now second in the country. So both games, just fantastic games in Cyclone history, let alone this season. Lastly, guys, give me a favorite play of the year.
Favorite play of the year? I'll have to say the Iowa game, right over the top. Jacob Park to Hakeem the Dream Butler, wide open, just 6'6", just striding his way to the end zone. There was nothing more entertaining. I was at the game. I was calling the game for KURE Sports Radio, and man, he just ran it all the way in. And then I'll piggyback another big one that I had was Trevor Ryan's kick return. That was, who was that against? I think it was against Kansas?
Kansas?
Yeah, it was against Kansas.
Kansas.
Yeah, and I had a great call on that one. And it was just so fun to see, Iowa State was so talented this year, so many great plays, but just overall, just a great season, and I loved it calling those games, guys.
I agree, man. Brian?
I may be a little bit biased on this one, but Lazard's one-handed bobbling touchdown against Oklahoma State, I was in the corner of the end zone. Got me on Sports Center for that play. So, I got to go with that one.
Brian got his debut.
Yep.
Yeah, that was an incredible play. For me, I think it was Marcel Spears' game-clinching interception against TCU. Kind of, again, touching on just, I kind of got the chills just reminding myself of that play just because, like you said, I was calling that play. It was an awesome play, and it was just an awesome moment for Cyclone football. But that's it for the football segment. Get ready for the bowl week, the bowl game coming up here. I mean, I guess I'll ask one more question. How big's a bowl win for this team?
Again, it elevates us, especially after this contract extension, saying, hey, let's go to whether I've heard some rumors, either Arizona, Orlando, maybe New York, but wherever we go, I think the Cyclones are, whoever we'll be matched up against, these guys have a month to rest, a month to prepare. So I think Iowa State, we're going to see 100% Iowa State football team going. Wherever we go, it's going to be big.
I think so too, Brian.
It's the first steps in gaining a winning tradition.
Sure.
Iowa State hasn't had that in forever. So just to have that, it means teams talk about us. We get better recruits. We get better coaches. We get more money. It's it's the whole package.
Yeah, you're gonna get the TV slot. Everybody's gonna get to see you. And let's be honest, 8-5 looks a lot better than 7-6.
7-6.
That's all we have for the football segment. Stay tuned for the basketball segment next. You're watching Cyclone InCyders.
So, I'm kind of new here, but I've noticed a trend. My human does this funny thing where she goes around and gets all my toys, and then she hides them in that basket by the door. But it's always the same basket, and it's always in the same place. And then she acts so surprised when I find them, but, she's putting them in the same basket. Again. It's like, hello, that's where you put it last time. You were the worst at hide and go seek.
Me and my boy Matt had it good. He had catnip that was off the hook. But one day, he brings a girl home, and she's allergic to cats. Every sneeze was a nail in my coffin. Now I'm in a shelter. It's decent, but they don't even have Wi-Fi.
Welcome back from the break. I'm still here with Les. Now Ben has joined us here at the desk. We're going to talk some men's basketball. And, I think a lot of Cyclone fans were pretty worried after the first two games of the season, losing by double digits to Missouri and losing by 18 at home to Milwaukee. But the Cyclones have bounced back. They've won 4 in a row, including the Puerto Rican tip-off held in Myrtle Beach. But the most recent game was against Western Illinois. Les, he was there, and he's got it all right here.
The 4-2 Iowa State Cyclones men's basketball team was at Hilton Coliseum this past week as they faced the 4-1 Western Illinois Leathernecks. Early in the first half, the Leathernecks led the Cyclones 14-12. It was a slow start for the Cyclones, but they managed to pick up the pace while playing some tough defense and sparked up a 12-0 run over Western Illinois. From there, it was a freshman fiesta. Freshman guard Lindell Washington led the Cyclones this evening with 21 points, 5 rebounds, and 6 assists, his personal best. Behind him was Cameron Lard, also a freshman, who had 14 points and 5 rebounds. Lard scored 12 of his 14 in the second half. Following him was another freshman, Terrence Lewis, who contributed 12 points of his own. The Cyclones are now 4-2 for the season as they begin to find their own identity. ISU has a week to prepare for 4-2 Northern Illinois Huskers. They play Monday night, December 4th at 8 p.m. in Hilton Coliseum. For ISU TV, I'm Les Mauricia.
I mean, this has looked like a completely new basketball team, guys. What has impressed you most over the last 4 games?
Honestly, Zach, for me, it's been the change of role. Nick Weiler-Bab's been playing a bit more guard, which shifted Donovan Jackson to more of a shooting position. And he was only averaging about 2 assists a game. So in my eyes, I think just shifting things around, they're playing better defense. Iowa State's 4 wins. I spoke about earlier in the season how they needed to win these early games before they get into conference play. And taking away Appalachian State, Tulsa, Boise, and WIU, that's a great start, especially the defense they played the last 2 games versus Boise and Western Illinois. I said it earlier, even on KURE Sports, start out by playing defense, and your offense will slowly start falling into place, and it looks like it's coming up, Zach.
Yeah, like you said, it seems like guys are starting to, fall into their roles, and the more they play together, I think you'll see them become more consistent. What do you got, Ben?
Yeah, I completely agree when you're talking about figuring out their roles. And it's almost like they're watching our show, these past 2 weeks. Because I know we called out Donovan Jackson and Nick Weiler-Babb. We said, all right, the seniors, they got to step up. They go and they have a fantastic tournament down in North Carolina. And then just this last game against Western Illinois, Lindell had a great game starting to break out of his freshman shell. What was he, first freshman to score 20 points since like 2009 or 8 or something. So that was great to see from him. And so those guys figured out how to score, which is what we were asking them to do. And, the addition of Lard and Brace was just huge for our chemistry and function. So I think those impressed me, and now they can start working on their growth and both ends of the floor rather than just offense.
Yeah, it was even nice to see Terrence Lewis have some success there. Last game, he finished with 12 points. Electrifying plays. Yeah, plays that got everybody standing up. But let's go back to negative a little bit, guys. What needs to change for this team, to take the next step?
Yeah, I just touched on it. So they're starting to figure out the offensive end. Now they need to switch it to their defensive end because we know Coach Brom is more of a defensive coach. And so if they can figure out how to use their defense to create more offense, then they're just going to score even more. And they're not going to be able to compete with everybody with this offense. So they're going to have to start shutting some teams down.
That's true. I'll piggyback exactly what you said. Against defense is the key, especially Big Ten, high-scoring teams, fast-paced basketball, one of the best conferences in the country, if you ask me. But finding that defense identity, and again, the offense will follow. We have talented guys. We have freshmen who are stepping up to the plate. We have seniors who are leaving their mark, if you will, and taking leadership roles. Again, I'm really impressed with Donovan Jackson taking a step back from that guard and finding his spot as a shooter. And I think he came in the game, and I think he hit 3 threes in a row. So, just finding that identity, finding your place. The defense, of course, has to be solid.
I agree, and I think for me, what really needs to change is just consistency, and that'll come with a lot of these young guys, night in, night out. Like Wigginton, if this team's going to be good, he needs to be what he was against Western Illinois every night. Because it takes so much pressure off other players, and if Lard's a presence, if Solomon can give some good minutes, if it all comes around, Jackson will get his shots, Bab will find them, it'll all work out.
They'll be a good team.
They will be. Yeah. And you know what, and it might not be this year, but as early as next year, this team could be very competitive.
Yeah, that loss to Milwaukee is almost turning out to be a good wake-up.
Yeah, it was. It really was. That's a good point. But let's talk about individual players. What player has really impressed you the most so far?
For me personally, I want to say Lindell Wigginton, the freshman. I meant to say him taking up the point guard role. I saw him yesterday at the grocery store, and we chatted it up a little bit. And I asked him, how are you feeling, man? You're a freshman, new platform, and he said he feels great. He knows the culture here at Iowa State. He knows what's expected of him. And that being said, you said it, Zach. He stepped up. Last week, and it's a young team. It's going to take some time to develop and find their place. But what I'm excited about, Zach, is him. That's what I'm excited about.
Yeah, you could tell he definitely has all the skills there. The more he matures, the better he's going to be. Ben?
Yeah, that gets me excited to hear that from him. He's really got some talent after a slow start. But in my case, I think Bab is turning out to be the most impressive for me because he's getting close to triple-double like every single game, and that's something Iowa State hasn't had since practically Royce White. So I think he is someone that could really break out of his shell once he gets the opportunity to play like he is this year. And I don't know if he'll be consistent in doing that or not. We're going to have to find out. But now that he's shown that he has the ability and he's figured out how to play point guard and lead this team. I'm excited for like what he can do this season.
Well, that leads us into Iowa State's next game, which is a week away, so they're going to have a lot of time to practice. I know head coach Steve Prohm is very excited for that. Get some time to work on some things and play together a little more before they play Northern Illinois next week. Guys, give me a quick prediction.
Sure. Northern Illinois is currently 4-2 right now. Iowa State has, you can see there, they have the huge spread. Yeah, 93% chance of winning. The game's going to be in Hilton Coliseum, so we got the magic on our side. I say Iowa State blows this one 80-62.
Okay, Ben?
I agree. I think if Iowa State can stay healthy and in good standing, then they're going to continue to roll for a little while, so I'm excited about that. And I think they're going to also win and run away with this one against the Huskies.
I agree. I think the Cyclones are going to take care of business at home and take care of the Huskies next week. And that's all we have for the men's basketball segment. Stay tuned. We got women's basketball, volleyball, and wrestling. You're watching Cyclone InCyders.
Okay, so we drowned the fire, stirred it, drowned it again, and now just feel if it's cold.
Yeah.
Cool.
Smokey just gave me a bear hug.
I know. I already posted it.
I'm doing it.
I'm doing it.
I'm doing it.
We're doing it.
I'm testing for HIV.
Knowing your HIV status allows you to stay healthy.
I do it for my sisters.
To stay strong.
For your partner. I care for my community.
I do it to lead by example.
We do it for love.
And now it's your turn to get tested for HIV.
It's fast, it's free, and it's confidential.
Make HIV testing a part of your routine.
Visit cdc.gov/doing it.
I'm doing it. Are you?
Welcome back from the break. Brian's back at the desk here with Ben and I, and we're going to talk some women's basketball. They're currently sitting at 3-2, and they just lost in the championship game of the Junkanoo Jam to Central Michigan, 81-60. That tournament was in Hawaii. Kind of cool name, I guess. I like that.
Don't know what it means.
Cyclones in that game, they lost the turnover battle, shot worse from the field, three-point range, and the free throw line, and were out-rebounded. Tough to win when that happens. Bridget Carlton's been terrific for the Cyclones so far this season, but who else needs to step up for this team?
I was just looking at it, and I think Adriana Camber, we need to see a little more play out of her. International player, but I looked, she started 4 games out of the 5 they've had this year, so I think Fennelly is trying to get her involved. And she played 25 games for the Cyclones last year, so she's should be starting to figure things out. So I'm starting to expect more from her, and she's only averaging 4 points in however many she's playing. So if she can get some more production, Iowa State can't have Durr and Carlton do it all, so they're going to have to find some other players to step up.
Yeah, you're right. Durr's been great as well on top of Carlton.
Yeah.
Ryan, you got a player for me?
I don't know that I've got one specific player. I know Camber could score better. I think the whole team could kind of score better. They looked good against Central Michigan. Central Michigan just looked a whole lot better. They're a good team this year. So I don't know that one person necessarily, in my mind, needs to stick up, but they got to find a way to score and work together.
Yeah, mine's going to be, I think, Meredith Burkle, who has had a pretty good season, but I think if the Cyclones want to take the next step, she's going to have to play, pretty great the rest of the season.
They need a post presence.
You're right, they do. And that takes us to their next game when Iowa State travels to Des Moines to take on Drake. What needs to change for the Cyclones, and who do you got?
I'm still going to go with Iowa State. But Drake's 3-3, but that's misleading. They're going to be a tough opponent. Their losses are against number 11 Oregon and a few other really good teams, winning record teams. Plus they won the Missouri Valley last year, which isn't easy. And they have the capability to score over 90 points a game, which is hard. They scored 115 in their exhibition, which is crazy in women's basketball. But I'm still going to go with Iowa State. I think we got a team that can take care of it.
Yeah, on top of all those things, I mean, they're in-state rivals, so at least it ain't too far.
It'll be a fun game,
It should be a fun game, Ben.
Brian and I were just talking about this, and I don't really like this matchup just because of Drake's ability to score so many points, and we just talked how Iowa State's got to find some more scores. So I think Drake is going to steal this one from Iowa State, but Iowa State needs to learn how to be more consistent. So if they can do that in this game against a good Drake team, then they'll be moving in the right direction.
Yeah, Yeah, I think it's going to come down to the wire. And you know what? I'm going to make a hot take right here. Bridget Carlton at the buzzer.
Sounds good to me.
Hey, you heard it here first. Let's move on to the volleyball segment. Iowa State found out this weekend they're going dancing for the 12th straight season. On top of that, they found out some other great news. I was able to make it down to practice, and here's more.
The Cyclone volleyball team qualified for their 12th straight NCAA tournament this season. But for the first time since 2012, they will host the first and second round games of the tournament as the number 14 overall seed.
Oh, thrilled. I mean, it's been a few years, obviously. A lot of things have to come together to be able to put yourself in position to host. I certainly think we're deserving. We fought hard to get a chance to host. It's a huge honor. There's a lot of good teams out there that aren't hosting. So to have that opportunity and to play at home at least one more time for these guys is great.
We're so excited. I think we tried to not get our hopes up. We kind of heard there was a chance, but we're like, okay, we'll just wait and see. You never know. But just to get the chance to play in Hilton again, we have an awesome crowd, awesome fan base, and it's just such a great place to play. So I think that will definitely help us going forward.
It's an amazing feeling, especially to host, just for the seniors' sake, just playing again in Hilton one more time.
The Iowa State volleyball team isn't looking over any team in this tournament, but they do believe they have the team to make a long run.
I like what we're doing. Avery's offensive numbers have skyrocketed the last couple weeks. She's getting better. Grace's slide attack has gotten so much better the last couple weeks. We're serving tougher than we ever have. When we do each of those things just a little bit better, it's worth a couple points per set at the end of the year.
I think we just have to be consistent. Our serving has come a really long way from the beginning of the season, so I think if we can just push a little bit harder on that, I think we could do really well. We have some veterans, we have some new players, but we're all in it together. We trust each other, and we just enjoy playing. So I think that's what's going to take us far.
Iowa State will open up the tournament against Princeton on Friday night at 7 o'clock in Hilton Coliseum. For ISU TV, I'm Zach Williamson.
Guys, how much does this seeding and being a host school mean for this program?
It's huge. I mean, 12 in a row anyways, but just to be able to play home court advantage is, you never turn that down. Yeah, especially in Hilton Coliseum. We got some magic there. I don't know if you've heard. But Cyclones TV put a video on Twitter of their reaction and them freaking out to school video.
It's very awesome. It's very exciting, Ben.
Yeah, I think this really solidifies Iowa State's volleyball program. I mean, Zach was telling me the last time they hosted was 2012, so that's, 5 years later they're hosting again, and 12 straight. I think you can safely say that Iowa State is one of the top volleyball programs across the nation, and it's good to see that out of them, and the attention that it brings is also really important for the program.
For sure. And they're going to be opening up that tournament, as I said in that video, against Princeton Friday. If they win, they take on the winner of Wisconsin-Marquette. Guys, you like the Cyclones' chances going to the Sweet 16?
I do. I think the home court advantage will play a big role, and they're going to have to catch fire, which, they won their last match, and I'm sure, they're prepared for the postseason. So I think the home court advantage is going to be a big deal for them, and I could see them making a run.
Yeah, the field in the tournament's tough this year. I got to say that. There's a lot of great teams in the NCAA this year. I still think it's perfectly possible to make the Sweet 16. You said we got to be hot. We swept the last 3 games this season. Last game of the season, Jess Shaban had a career 23 digs, career high. So I think we're on that roll that can get us there.
I agree 100%. I really liked what head coach Chrissy Johnson-Litch had to say to me as well. With a lot of players, almost every single one that talked to me today just said, every team at this point's good. And they kind of learned that lesson last year. They made the tournament and lost 3 sets in a row to Purdue, who everybody agreed on their team that they were a better team than Purdue. But at the same time, you have to understand, every team in this tournament's a good team. It's just like the NCAA tournament in basketball. Anybody can go on a run. But I think the Cyclones will get it done. I think they're going to make it back to the Sweet 16. In other news this week, Holly Hillegas was named the Big 12 Libero of the Year. This is the 9th time in the last 10 years that Iowa State has received this honor. So wow, once again, in the Big 12, being what it is, being the league it is in volleyball, that's beyond impressive.
Yeah, it's well deserved too.
On top of that, she made the all Big 12 first team along with Jess Shaban and Samara West, and then Avery Rhodes was named to the Big 12 all freshman team. Absolutely amazing. Great season so far for the volleyball team, but they're not quite done yet. A little news for wrestling. They will be traveling to the Cliff Keen Las Vegas Invitational this weekend, so good luck to them. But other than that, that wraps it up here for Cyclone InCyders. This is our last episode of the semester, so tune in again next semester and have very happy holidays. I'm Zach Williamson, joined with Brian Birchka and Ben Olson from Cyclone InCyders. Take care.